Okay, today we're talking about section 7.9, special products of binomials. And you know products are, right, things that are multiplied. Binomials are two terms. So here's some things that if you note them, if you notice them, you could find a bit of a shortcut. You can also do it the long way, but I want you to be able to at least see the connection here, because we're going to be using this more in the next chapter when we get into factoring, and we're going to be working backwards from these. So just becoming familiar with it is going to be helpful. Remember, while we're at it, that this raised to the second power is the same as a plus b times a plus b. And this raised to the second power is the same as a minus b times a minus b. So if you have a situation where you're noticing that you have one of these, it will always multiply to equal this to the second power, and then the b to the second power. And then in order to get this middle term, you take a times b times 2. So it sounds totally crazy. I get it. We'll go over here in a minute. And when it's a difference of two squares, that's this one here. This is called a perfect square trinomial. This is a difference of two squares. You notice this has both of the same signs, both of the same signs. But when you have a situation where you're multiplying the exact same thing, but one's positive and one's negative, that middle term drops out. So you're left with a squared, whatever the a is, minus the b squared. So it's a little bit simpler. Now before we can do that, you need to know what squares are. What are perfect squares? Perfect squares are numbers that when you take the square root of them, so if I take the square root of 4, I'm going to get 2. If I do the square root of 16, I'm going to get 4. If I do the square root of 81, I'm going to get 9. I get a whole number when I take the square root. Now if I do the square root of 80, I get that. Okay, so that's not a whole number. So these are all called perfect squares, because when you do the square root of them, you get a whole number. What is the whole number? Well, here it is all lined up here, because they get this by doing 1 to the second, 2 to the second, 3 to the second, 4 to the second, 5 to the second. So the square root of 16 is 4, the square root of 100 is 10, the square root of 144 is 12. So they're all listed right there. When you're familiar with these numbers, and you get more familiar as you do more math, then you start to recognize them. Okay? So let's take a look. So this one, let's try to work with these new formulas here. Which of the three do you think that falls under? X plus 3, all of it squared. Does that look similar to that, or to that? Hopefully you notice it's like the first one. So that means instead of having to do FOIL, where we multiply and do all the 4 different things like we learned yesterday, we can do it a little bit simpler in one step. How? Well, we take the first number and we square it. Okay, so what is x to the second power? Well, it's simply x to the, oops, I'm not on the screen anymore. X to the second power. Then you're also going to look at the third term. It's b squared. So what's 3 to the second power? 9. So I did that squared, I did that squared. Now the question is, if it's a plus, notice the signs up here. They're both plus. And I just need to get this middle term. And the way you get it is you multiply the two things. Okay, so 3x, and then times it by 2. So we have 3x, and then we're going to multiply it by the 2, which is what here? 6x plus 9. Now, if it's a test and you're like, okay, I don't know, I just wanna write it this way, and I just wanna use FOIL. Fine, go ahead. But this again, since we're gonna be coming up with this, we need to, we're gonna be using it more in the future. We need to be familiar with these terms and how it all works. So let's look at this one. Again, which one does it look like? It looks like this one on top. Like this one. Okay, so what did we do? We took the first term and squared it, y squared. We took the last term and squared it, 16. It's positive. Put in your bumpers of positives. Now, 4 times y, 4y, times 2, 8y. See if you guys can do that one. Pause the video and try it. All right, I'm going to do it. 2x squared. So again, it's the 2 and the x that are squared, so it would be 4x to the second. Square that, 25. It's plus, so they're both plus. Middle term, we multiply them, 10x, and then we times it by 2, 20x. This was 4y. Then we double it, 10x, then we double it, 3x, then we double it. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So we have x minus 6 to the second. Which one's that like? Right here. Only thing different is what, class? Ding, ding. That first term there is a subtraction. That's the only thing different. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. X to the second, 6 to the second. Now, instead of plus plus, we have minus plus. 6 times x is 6x, double it, 12x, done. So if you see, again, this pattern, it's a little shorter than doing the whole FOIL thing, where you're doing spider legs, combining like terms. But that does work. How about this one? Y minus 6 squared. Oh, well, that looks pretty darn close, doesn't it? So that's going to be y to the second. 6 to the second. It's a subtraction. So, oopsie, I screwed that up there. So a minus and a plus, and then we multiply them, 6y in this case instead of x, and double it, 12y. All right, try the next one. Okay, so hopefully you guys have the 2y squared. Again, don't forget this 2 gets squared too, so you get 4y squared. The 1 squared is 1. It's subtraction, so you have a minus and a plus. And again, you don't. It's right here. If you forget, minus and a plus. And then 2y times 1 is 2y. Double it, 4y. Lastly, we have these. And as you can see, now we have positive and a negative. That's very similar to these. And the nice thing about that is that middle term is gone. So it's just a times a squared, b times b squared, and then it's a difference. And you know a difference is subtraction. So it's going to be a subtraction. So x times x, x squared, 4 times 4, 16, done. How cool is that? Oh, you missed it. I didn't have it on the screen. It's that simple. X times x is x squared, 4 times 4 is 16, and it's minus because it's a difference. Same thing here. Let's do it. Y times y, y squared. 6 times 6, 36, and it is minus. Two y times 2y, 4y squared. 3 times 3, 9, and it's minus. Notice here, if you did multiply these out, I want you to see what would happen so that you understand why that middle term is gone. If you FOIL it, you're going to get y times y, y squared. Y times 6, 6y. Negative 6 times y is negative 6y. Negative 6 times 6 is a negative 36. And look at these two inner terms. Positive 6y, negative 6y, those cancel, and you're left with exactly what we got there. But it's a matter of noticing, oh my goodness, they're exactly the same. We just have a negative and a positive. All right. That's it for today. Have a good day.